never really got a steady rhythm going from one drive to the next until the second half.
Sean, sorry, I just came in here. When you check out Washington State, on tape, what do you see out of them defensively that you try to exploit this week?
Well, I think their three down linemen are strong and they're stout, and I think that'll be a major challenge for us. Those guys just they do a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. So I think both in protection and the run game, that'll be a major challenge for us.
Hunter said when he was looking at their secondary, he said he described them as aggressive. Mm-hmm. Do you see that as well, and how do you take advantage of that?
Yeah, I agree with Hunter. I think they're a team that does play aggressive, especially in the secondary, and I think it really forces an offense to be sharp, and there's little margin for error when teams play that aggressively, but at the same time, if you're really sharp, there can be some big plays. So there's a balance there, and we want to just be able to go out there and be crisp and win the one-on-ones. I think we'll be all right.
And speaking of being sharp, Sean, the penalties have really hurt you guys. Is that something you kind of talk about, in the huddle before you call after you call the play, and just kind of remind guys whether it's false start or whether it's a procedural thing? How do you go about fixing the penalties?
It's something we have to correct. Especially, to me, if there's going to be, the way I see it, there's going to be physical errors. There might be a holding call here or there. It's just kind of part of the game. But the pre-snap penalties, the false starts, the illegal formations, the substitution penalties, delay, those are all things that we can easily correct. That's all just a matter of discipline. So I think it's just focusing in practice and really knowing the snap count, really being sharp, getting in and out of the huddle. And I think those are things that we can really correct.
When you look at what Jordan was able to do with Victor, the two big second halves, what would you see out of them as far as just being able to find them consistently and that sort of thing?
I think they're two talented players, and I think they're two different players. I think that's what's really interesting is the way that they kind of can complement each other. A lot of football is one-on-ones, and Coach Riley says it. Really a football game turns into a bunch of different matchups of one-on-one. So I think for them to be able to win one-on-one matchups in different fashions, Jordan with his size and Victor with his speed, I think gives us a couple different ways to use them.
Are you hoping that's kind of maybe a confidence builder going into the last bit of the season for those two young guys?
Yeah, and they should have all kinds of confidence throughout the whole year. Victor's Victor played last year, made a lot of big plays for us. And all year long he's played a very important role for us. And then Jordan, since early in the season has kind of been getting more and more reps with the offense. And I think for him, just a matter of going in there and playing football. He's as physically talented as anyone.
Speaking of confidence, Riley zeroed in on confidence as the reason why this team doesn't have that killer instinct that you guys should to play games. How do you take that?
I feel like it's the kind of thing where we have confidence. We just have to go out there and do it. We have to just kind of trust ourselves and trust our scheme. And I think a lot of it is just trusting ourselves to make a play and just go out there and play football.
He also zeroed in on third down conversions as the reason for inconsistency. I know that's something you've been harping on all season. After watching the film, how does this team finally convert on third downs?
Well, I think it's a lot of it's getting into third and short, and that's being good on first and second down. And I think penalties can be a killer there when you have to start first and 15 or first and 20. That can really hurt you. And then I think when we get into third down situations, it's just about being sharp and. I think those are as big a plays in the game as any, and I think it's something that, like you said, I've mentioned a lot this year, and I think we gotta keep working on it.
You say you have to play sharp. Garrett says you guys have to execute. His favorite word. I mean, does that come from how does that stem from? Does that stem from good practice? Talks in the locker room. Where does that come from?
I think a lot of it's just knowing what we're doing and practicing it well during the week. I think this team does a great job of practicing hard and we just gotta come out here and know what we're doing and do it all week, and then it's easy to take it into the game.
Finally, what are you seeing from Washington State's defense?
I think they got a strong front three on their defense, and they play aggressive in the secondary.